I still remember the night when I first heard them. The whispers, the cries, and the chilling laughter that seemed to crawl out of the walls themselves. My name is Eliza Carter, and I am about to tell you a story that still feels like a curse etched into my soul. It's the story of the House of Voices, a place that swallowed me whole and never truly let me go. It all began one autumn evening. I was driving through the countryside after receiving a call from a real estate agent. He claimed to have found an abandoned Victorian house, perfect for my research project. As a historian specializing in folklore and forgotten places, I had been looking for something extraordinary, a house with a story so dark it could fill the pages of my book. When I pulled up to the property, the first thing that struck me was its sheer size. The house loomed against the fading sky, its roof jagged, its windows broken, yet its structure still proud. Ivy clung to the walls like veins, and the iron gate creaked open as though welcoming me. But there was something else, an energy. A suffocating heaviness pressed against my chest the moment I stepped onto the grounds. The caretaker, Mr. Holloway, was waiting for me by the porch. He was an old man with cloudy eyes and a limp, his voice a gravelly whisper. "You must be Eliza," he said. "Not many dare step foot here anymore." "Why?" I asked, though part of me already knew the answer. He tilted his head toward the house. "Because it speaks, and those who listen never leave the same." I laughed nervously, brushing his warning aside as superstition. I had read countless similar stories in my work, after all. But deep down, something in his words made my skin crawl. The first night. That night, I set up camp inside the grand parlor, determined to stay for a week and document everything. The house smelled of damp wood and dust. My flashlight revealed portraits hanging on cracked walls, stern-faced men and women, their eyes following me wherever I moved. At midnight, I heard it. A faint murmur, like someone whispering just beyond the edge of hearing. I froze, straining my ears. The voice was soft, female, almost pleading. "Help me." My heart hammered. I spun around, shining my flashlight across the room, but it was empty. The whispers grew louder, multiplying, overlapping into a chorus of sorrow. "Leave, stay, don't go, he's here." I stumbled backward, clutching my journal to my chest. My rational mind screamed that it was the wind seeping through broken windows, but my soul knew better. The house was alive. I barely slept that night. The history. The following morning, I scoured the library in town, desperate to uncover the house's history. What I found was both fascinating and horrifying. The mansion had once belonged to the Warwick family, wealthy landowners in the late 1800s. But behind their fortune lay tragedy. Records showed that the Warwick patriarch, Edward Warwick, had been a cruel man, rumored to dabble in the occult. His wife, Margaret, and their 3 children were said to have died mysteriously. Some claimed of illness, others whispered of sacrifice. The townsfolk believed the house was cursed, a place where the dead were trapped, their voices forever echoing. No one had lived there since, except a handful of tenants who all left within weeks, broken, terrified, or mad. And now I was there, the child's voice. On the second night, I heard it again. This time, it was not a whisper, but the clear voice of a child. "Come play with me." The sound drifted from the hallway, innocent yet chilling. Against all better judgment, I followed. My flashlight flickered as I walked down the narrow corridor. Doors lined the walls, some ajar, others locked tight. At the far end, one door creaked open slowly, as though waiting. Inside was a nursery. The wallpaper was peeling, toys lay scattered across the floor, and a cradle sat rocking gently on its own. I stepped closer, my breath shallow. Then I saw it, a small handprint smeared across the dusty mirror. "Eliza," the child's voice whispered. My knees buckled. How did it know my name? I fled back to the parlor, slamming the door shut. The house was no longer just haunted. It was aware of me. The man in the shadows. By the 4th night, the whispers had become unbearable. They followed me from room to room, crying, laughing, screaming. But it wasn't until I saw him that I truly felt terror. I was exploring the basement when I noticed a figure standing at the far corner. Tall, broad-shouldered, his face obscured by shadow. He did not move, did not speak, yet his presence suffocated me. "Edward Warwick," I whispered, my voice trembling. The air grew icy. He stepped forward, and though I couldn't see his eyes, I felt them burn into me. The voices rose to a crescendo, screaming warnings. Run. He will take you too. I bolted up the stairs, slamming the basement door behind me. But I knew then that I was no longer a mere observer. I was part of the story now. The final night. On the 7th night, I decided to leave. My notes were enough, and my sanity was hanging by a thread. But as I packed, the voices grew frantic. Don't leave us. He won't let you go. The front door slammed shut on its own. Windows locked. The house itself seemed determined to keep me inside. Then I heard a voice, clearer than ever, right behind me. Eliza, stay with us. Forever. I turned and saw her. A woman in a tattered dress, pale, her eyes hollow. Margaret Warwick. She reached for me, her hand cold as ice when it brushed my arm. Behind her, in the shadows, Edward appeared. His grin was monstrous, his form towering. The voices shrieked in terror, and suddenly I understood. The souls trapped in the house were not tormenting me. They were warning me. I grabbed my lighter and set fire to the drapes. Flames spread quickly, smoke filling the air. The spirit screamed, but this time it was not in fear. It was in release. As I stumbled out of the burning house, coughing, I looked back one last time. In the flames, I saw their faces, Margaret, the children, dozens of others smiling. Free at last. But Edward's shadow remained, glaring at me through the inferno, his lips mouthing a promise. This isn't over.